Welcome back, everybody. I want to introduce Kristie West. Kristie West is the COO of Orchid Orthopedic Solutions. Basically, she oversees 11 manufacturing plants globally, supply chain, operational excellence, innovation, and program management under her umbrella at Orchid. Some of our Orchid folks are here. Would you raise your hand, please? Prior to that, she worked for GE Aerospace for 18 years. That's 16, I can't read. 16 years. And then she was a senior executive director of Edison Works Program and Operational Team. She was a senior executive for GE Aviation supply chain. She's a director of operations for Unison Industries, which is a GE company, and the executive plant leader for Aviation, another GE company. So she's a Six Sigma Master Black Belt, and I don't know, she's pretty impressive to me. I just feel very fortunate that she was willing to come and share our journey with you. And I'd like to introduce Kristie West. How about now? Yep. There we go. All right. Thank you. All right. So I get the unfortunate pleasure of following this man. I think one more round of applause for him. I was feverishly typing notes as Billy was talking, which for me, I am a student of Lean. I always want to grow, and just having the opportunity to listen to someone like Billy and his experiences and his philosophies rang true to me. So I actually have a lot of reflection time after that to look at my notes and his messages and what he said. So thank you for that. But thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I really want to talk about really just culture. So I think you're not planned, because I just met Billy even through passing at the in the elevator at the hotel last night. A lot of the messages that he have, you're going to hear parallels to some of the things that I say. But I am an operations person at heart. Like I said, I'm a student of Lean. But more importantly, part of my brand is really developing a culture of continuous improvement. So what's culture mean to you guys?
Common norms.
Yep, common norms. Mindset.
Things we do every day.
Yep. Habits, things.
Acceptable, what's not acceptable.
Yep, that's right. Awesome. Mindset was one that rings true. And honestly, at Orchid, and I know some of the Orchid team members are new to the team, some not so much. So Kelsey, you're the senior one, I think.
Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Okay. Well, and two relatively new, and Holly a little bit longer than me, but we are very much in our crawl phase when it comes to continuous improvement. And it didn't take too long being there and going to all the sites and really going to the Gemba and listening to people talk. And, when you hear people say we're doing Lean, it kind of throws you off, you're not understanding Lean, or we change our tack. You change your tack. Did your customer tell you to change your tack? No, we change it. Okay. We don't understand, which is okay. So, but it was telling that we've probably started it and stopped over a period of time, had some different ways, maybe didn't roll it out in the most effective way, which is fine too. But it's important for me, we take our time to do it right. And I think culture and having that leadership mindset
is a big part of it, and it starts with me. And it starts with all of you as CI leaders, whether you're CI leaders in your business, whether you're leaders of CI, whether you're leaders of people, it starts with us, which is very important. So I wanted to talk about my brand. I'm gonna say the words I and my a little bit. I don't like that. I am very much a we person, but just to give you context behind some of my messages and how, trying to lead our organization and how I lead as part of my brand. And I say brand because I've been fortunate to develop my brand over the years, and what that is, and what people know me as, is wanting to build high effective teams, high performance teams, with a strong level of engagement to help any team win, an individual win and a team win. So Billy used the word win a lot. I use the word win a lot. Billy talked about, the role that he thought he was going to get, and it was a tough role. I've got a career of chasing the tough assignments because, one, it's the most personal growth for myself, as a curious learner. But two, there's no greater feeling than to see and feel and help a team win when you get on the other side. And so that's been my brand. Uh-oh. I can use the button too.
Like right in the center of the slide.
Tyler, you know what? Tyler was
What?
a student of mine.
Oh,
He was always my senior.
nice job.
Namaste.
So a few tenets, for me that I think about. So again, another parallel to what Billy said, like I said, it wasn't planned, but it's something that I believe in, is that upside down org chart. We'll talk a little bit about engagement. I want to talk about coaching, versus directing and how that feels. And then I'm going to share with you what we've just started at the beginning of this year, after I had an opportunity to really, assess leadership, assess our climate, assess our culture, and to understand what those gaps were. But more importantly, where we wanted to head is, what are the leadership behaviors that we want to try to instill and help all of our leaders, from the CEO all the way through the organization, or from the frontline leaders all the way up to the CEO from an upside down org chart standpoint, to really start to learn so that we can foster that culture of continuous improvement. Let's see. I think. There we go. All right. So from an upside down org chart standpoint, this is how I look at it. It is me. My team is on my shoulders. And that's been part of my mantra for me is, I put my team in front of anybody. If I take care of my team, we take care, of any kind of situation or where we want to head. But it's all about serving, and it is that servant leadership aspect. I am here for my team. That's my number one job. It's not me, it's my team. And it's my team to help my team get to the mission and help my team win. And to help our customers along with it, because we're not who we are. We're not keeping our customers happy. But our words matter. So when I think words matter, and maybe it's just me being a little particular, but I get pretty particular when I hear words like management versus leadership. They connotate two very different things. So picky as to hear off shift versus night shift. Usually when I hear someone say off shift, I'll stop them. Because think about that. If I'm working in a night shift, I'm working in a night shift because there might be a reason, whether that was the hole that I was only able to fill when I came in, or family reasons or whatever, but it just sounds penalizing, off shift. Words really do matter. And then listening to learn. So we heard that too. I mean, we have to listen with intent, to be empathetic. I think I was talking to Mr. Cook. I was talking with someone earlier around lunch, just about the yes and. You know, so thinking about that yes and instead of saying no, but that I'm listening with what I want, you know, to tell you. It's really yes and. And it's respect. My team, individually or as a team, they deserve to be heard. So I can listen to learn, so I know how to best help them. And then seeing with your feet, go to the gemba. Unless you go to the gemba, you're not going to really feel and understand what a person is living through day to day, to understand how we've got to best help them. So the upside down org chart. So this was a matrix that I learned from a previous leader. Is probably my second role at General Electric. And this was my master black belt role. It really doesn't have a name, but we started talking about, you know, just kind of cost in the organization and continuous improvement. You know, GE, not to talk negatively, but, you know, was always known for Lean Six Sigma. The Six Sigma first with Jack Welch, and then Lean, and then it was Lean Six Sigma. And then after time, we split the two apart. But we really weren't doing lean. It was very much a grind. But I learned early on to think about my teams in this way. The more flexible I can make a team. So if I'm in operations and I'm trying to eliminate single points of failure from a skill set, I'm cross-training, I want to go 3 deep everywhere, so we're never caught. And then I drive engagement. I drive engagement where I can use the power of all of my team to understand, you know, like I said, going to the gemba to understand what's going on, to listen, to learn from them, to get ideas for continuous improvement, to get their buy-in, but more importantly, to participate. The more flexible I am, the more engaged I am, the more competitive I can be in business. So from an outcome perspective, the more I can drive that, there's more respect in the organization. You're a more productive team. You get lower attrition because people are heard. They feel engaged. They see us act on the things that they're having troubles with. We fix some of the micro things. We help the macro for the business. We have a nimble team to serve the customer. I don't know about you all, but forecast is a forecast. Forecasts change. Business dynamics change. Look at what happened with COVID. Huge change everywhere. But the more nimble you are, the quicker we are to react, the quicker we are to serve the customer, to serve the business, to serve each other. Like I said, cost competitive. And quite frankly, the teams that are most flexible and the most engaged, those are the teams that I want to continue to invest in. Even as much as the ones who are maybe down in the bottom left quadrant, that we've got to invest in help and development and leadership. So how, like I said, listening to learn. One of my big mantras, say do. If I say that I'm going to do it, we got to do it. Say do has to equal 1. Invest in development. Invest in development of people. Invest in the development of the processes. because it is all about process. We heard that too. It's a pet peeve of mine, you know, if we've got quality issue, a safety issue, you know, any kind of issue, and we automatically jump straight to the person. It's not the person. Ask yourself 5 whys, ask yourself 10 whys until you can finally get down, you know, to maybe it's the person, but 99.9% of the time it's not. It's how do we build and invest in the processes that we need to help our teams successful. Show appreciation often and in public. I show appreciation often. Holly, I think maybe, you know, would agree with me, but usually when I send emails out at the end, before I sign my name, it's usually thanks for all you do. It's so important to me that my team knows that I care and I'm acknowledging, you know, what they've done. Even if we didn't hit success, I am going to acknowledge and appreciate the effort. And then communicating with transparency. You know, it's just like, you know, clear vision or your true north, right? Every team has to learn that. It has to know that. So obviously, so we in Orchid, we've started last year with putting together somewhat of a production system. It's getting more formalized now and rolled out, but we've got some of the visual management in the shops, because I want to be able to go to all 11 shops and to be able to see how we are doing in the same way. And like Billy said, in less than a minute, I can tell if we had a good day or not, or if we're on track to have a good day, good week, good month, good quarter. Sophie and her team in Farmington Hills have done an outstanding job with their plant control centers, their cell control centers, but we're at our infancy. But when we get it right, it's going to be very easy for our teams, more importantly on the shop floor, to be able to understand and look at their boards to say, how are we doing? And to know, but more importantly, to be able to give input on where we need support. And then clear and visible goals in the same way. So we've got a revenue target, we've got an operating target. And I tend to, in between, we talk about safety, quality, delivery, cost, and people in that order all the time. So if we can get those right, we get the revenue, we get the profit that we expect. So safety from health, environmental, psychological, comes in every way, shape, or form. Quality and our parts and our services, the delivery on time and full, our cost, we're cost efficient, and then people stretches across all of it. That is how I talk in every meeting. That's how our teams talk in their daily Gembas, in that order all the time. And again, that is respect for people. It's respect for our customers. It's respect for our business. Coaching versus directing. So this was a big one for me. I mean, if someone asks you, what do you expect to achieve if you did what you said you were going to do, versus I need you to do X so that you can achieve X, which one feels better? The first one. So this one's important for me because coaching allows myself, it allows us as leaders to help others develop. It helps others have that personal reflection to get to the solutions on their own versus to be told. It allows people to come up with those ways of doing things differently or being able to solve problems versus, you know, myself directing them, because they, quite frankly, will probably come up with something better than I might. And we have to allow that freedom, and that freedom within a framework. So let's talk about what we're doing at Orchid. And you can read the words on the page. I mean, it was a big jump for me to come from GE to Orchid for sure. New industry, new structure, different environment, not public, private equity, much smaller in size, but it was the funnest I've had in my career my first year, without a doubt. And that's because of the team, it's because of the people. And then we need leadership. We've got to create the culture of continuous improvement. But this organization has got a lot ahead of us, a tremendous amount of growth, tremendous profit expectations from our private equity owner. But to retain our talent, we've got to develop our problem-solving muscles. Last year in our, like I said, crawl phase, we wanted to focus in on 5S, problem solving, and lean daily management. And so I was reflecting with Billy when he was saying, don't lead with the tools. And I was reflecting on that because we kind of did that. So now I got to think about, and I'm just being vulnerable here when I say this. Now my reflection is, how do we course correct that, or do we? But the problem solving muscle we needed, because it's a very financially led company. We were reporting the news. We weren't saying, root cause on how we were missing or how we were going to methodically solve problems. Now we're trying to teach that problem solving muscle. But then just embracing new ways of doing things faster. So what we did was we pulled together a very cross-functional group of people, from operations to commercial to IT, HR, finance, every part of the organization. Senior to Orchid, new to Orchid, very diverse in every definition. And we asked this group to think about where we need to head from a continuous improvement culture. But more importantly, what leadership behaviors do we need to strengthen to help us get there? And so we did this from really a grassroots effort, which was really cool, because we got to take the folks in the organization. It wasn't leadership led, but to listen to what they feel we needed to develop across all leaders in Orchid. And they came up with 3 different behaviors. So it's curiosity, resilience, and empowering. And you can read the words on the page, but we tried to understand, what we want, and obviously around the continuous improvement culture. But the important piece of this is the reflection of ourselves on these behaviors, so that if we improve ourselves, we'll help enable and we'll improve our team, which will then help enable and improve Orchid, and to get to where we want to go from a cultural perspective. So from there, we rolled out the behaviors to all the leaders. And then we identified coaches throughout the organization. So every single people leader in Orchid should have a coach. So I have a coach. The entire leadership team of Orchid has a coach. And now I get to meet with mine every month. And I just met with her last week. We kind of talked through, of these 3, where do you feel like you need to focus more on? And I said, well, empowering, resiliency, some of those, the roots of those meanings are, within my brand, but I still need to focus on those. But curiosity is the one that I really think that I need to really grow and help exude, and hopefully the team can see my progress. So we talked through that. I signed up for a couple of items, and then we're going to meet next month. 2 weeks from now, she's going to send me something, an accountability message to say, hey, Kristie, where you at with the two, actions that you signed up to do. Just so that she can hold me accountable. And that's how these relationships are going to go. And I will tell you, I am hearing from folks who've been in the organization for 16 to 20 years saying, we never talked culture this much. We never talked about leadership or change. And we've never talked about continuous improvement as much as what we are now. So I step back and I reflect and I think about the things that we've done or what I thought was right, from a crawl perspective, to start to look at the upside down organization and how we start to problem solve, how we start to focus on 5S, how we get some lean daily management in place, but then to work ourselves down, through the leadership perspective to help, again, enable through behaviors, the evolution of our continuous improvement culture. So that's part of our empathy, but, the intent, for us is that we're going to have these reflections. We're going to recognize, we're going to get leaders to be vulnerable and share with the organization how they're going through with the experience. But it's really cool to see us evolve from a leadership perspective. This might be an eye chart for you, but this is what the team came through, and you guys can have this presentation, but we really wanted to give examples to all the pairings, the coach and the coachees, to understand what does good look like. Let's give a foundation, of each one of these three. So curiosity for me, learn what motivates and inspires team members. Probe to understand what we should not do, not just because we can or want to do. Or empowering, articulating a clear vision, providing team members with resources and coaching. And then resiliency, rallying the team to solve problems, not avoid obstacles. Change direction when needed. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to fail fast, learn fast and pivot. So I kind of wrap this up to say, again, from my brand to build high performance teams, to help them win, but to build a continuous improvement culture at Orchid, really with the foundation of the respect for people, again, up-down org chart, upside-down org chart, be a servant leader. From a leadership perspective, I'm all about the team. From the engagement perspective and thinking about that matrix, where do you want to be? I want to be in that top right. I want every one of my teams to be in that top right, flexible, highly engaged. And then coaching and directing. So for me, it's all about asking good questions. It's about making people feel that I'm listening. It's about making people feel that I'm empathetic. It's about making my team feel that I'm here to help develop. And then our behaviors. So we're setting leadership expectations. And for some leaders, it's going to be hard to adapt to, and some may not. But it's helping us set the tone for our culture of continuous improvement and our performance expectations. So I know it's hard. You guys are after lunch. Billy's shoes, tough shoes to follow. But at least, and I know what I said here isn't anything that you guys haven't heard before, but if anything, to hear it from someone who's been a leader for 25 years, student of lean, who wants to continue to improve myself as a leader and help my teams win, if I can at least inspire one thought in one person in this crowd, I call it a success. So I really appreciate you guys dedicating time in this. It's most people don't understand lean. Some people don't have the resilience or the patience, you know, to work it through. But I think your dedication of being here to continually learn and network with each other and learn from each other is commendable. So I appreciate you having me here, and good luck to all of you. We'll take questions too. I think we've got a few minutes.
Yeah, question. Well, first off, Ms. West, I think you did awesome.
Thank you.
You and Billy gave different perspectives, so I learned a lot from you and I learned a lot from them too. So, your shoes for that. With that being said, I do want to add, and what I'm getting from your presentation here, and I think it's really true to the word that, you know, we win with people,
That's right.
right? What is one key influence or tool that you use to give people or personnel confidence into following the leader?
So I really think it's kind of what I said. I think when I have one-on-ones with people, or I know some of the folks in here haven't seen it all the way yet, but one of our ground rules in our monthly operating reviews, because we set ground rules, and one of those ground rules, by the way, is no gotcha questions. It's coaching questions. But the most important one is, it really is a team sport, and what can I do to help? So whether I'm in a one-on-one situation, whether we're talking through a sticky problem, I am being genuine when I say, what can I do to help? And it's just like Billy said, you know, embrace and celebrate the reds. I say embrace the reds. There's nothing wrong with reds because it just points us to the problem. Now we're in it together to fix it. And so I think it's just instilling the confidence in my teams that they know I've got their back. They know I'm here with them. I'm in the trenches with you. It's one example. Yeah.
So I actually can give a testimonial to this. So annual conference last year, I had to roll out 5S in Lansing. We call it the ghost of lean past because it wasn't real popular. I had no idea what I was going to do. And on the way home from the annual conference, I was all geeked and I texted Kristie Friday afternoon. Hey, do you have a few minutes? And she says, give me a half hour and I'll call you. So she calls. What COO gives little old me a call? I don't know. But I'm like, okay, take off your COO hat, go back to the floor. This is what I got to do. And I like ran stuff past her. And instead of telling me it, she'd ask me questions. Well, how do you want to do this? And I honestly had the most joy I've ever had rolling out 5S with a team as I did in Lansing. And I think they did too. And they're still carrying it today. They had felt empowered. They felt like they had a voice and they had control over what they wanted. So, I mean, if it hadn't been for you, I'm not sure I would have come to the conclusion, but I mean, who does that? I've never had anybody do that before.
You had the conclusion already.
Oh, Lord. Any more questions?
Any questions over here?
Awesome.
Questions? Thank you so much,